What's going on, guys, and welcome to a new episode of the Ultimate Ironman series. The last episode, we got very spooned on the bottomless compost bucket, and if you think the spoons are over this episode, well, you are wrong, because this episode, even more spoons will happen. We ended off the last episode with some Ammonite crab AFKing, and I'm still going to do some of that now, but first a small break from that to do some farming contracts, and we got some willow saplings. I'm just going to bag these, and also we got some nice fossils, obviously, which are very, very nice. After this Ammonite crab session, we will continue trying some Slayer again, but I think first we can down a Hespori, and then we'll get onto that. I didn't bother to get an anti-poison for this Hesporic AC to save up on some time, and we weren't able to complete it, but I think it's more so because of bad hits and taking a lot of damage, which is mostly RNG and not so much about the anti-poison. But to get a bit more of a guarantee on the next KST, let's just get an anti-poison anyway. So let's take a sip of the anti-poison, eat the garden pie, get some food, and then we should be set up for another Hesporic KST. We're not looking for the bucket anymore, but we still want to keep up with the chronal seeds to do farming contracts a bit more efficiently, so that's basically the only thing we're hunting. We were able to defeat the Spory this time, still a pretty close KC. I opted to also pray Steel Skin just to guarantee the kill a bit more. Let's grab a spade to loot it and hope for a chronal seed. Let's see if we can get a chronal seed this time. Wait. We got another bucket. There's no way we got a back-to-back bucket. There's like 0 things we can do with this, as we can only store 1 bucket. And we also got the chronal seeds, by the way. We are like the biggest spoons ever at this boss. Like, yeah, we probably will just drop this bucket over to the main, and yeah, this is quite crazy. Okay, we are very big spoons. Yes, we cannot do anything with the bucket. I'm just going to drop it over to the main account. Let's make sure we drop the right bucket though, not the one that's filled. Yeah, it should be good. Well, the biggest spoons ever, I'd say. The bottomless bucket, pretty useless, at least the second one. The first one obviously being very, very useful. And yeah, the 2 buckets in the lock, it's quite crazy. But the chronal seeds we got were very, very good. We should be able to keep up with the farming contracts right now. We are back at the Ammonite crab set to do some IRL stuff, and we got a little lamp from a genie, 49 prayer coming in. I think I'll just opt to put these on prayer right now, as with Urpler EXP we should be pretty fine with the farming contracts. Also all the diary rewards in the future will probably go on prayer. I think if we put every diary reward on it till the hard diaries, we should be able to get like 70 prayer with this, which will be very, very good. So let's do some more Ammonite crab AFKing, and I'll get back to you once we're done. We ended off the session with 89 ranged with about 400k EXP left, slowly getting up there. Now we are... Ooh, another fossil. Nice. A full inventory of fossils actually. These will mostly be used to just get numelites for the volcanic mine. Now it's back to some Slayer. We are still hunting that 69 Slayer from Monkey Madness 2, and then we can also get onto the Zenite grind. So let's do some Tyrell skipping again, and let's hope we can get lucky on the Konar tasks. I almost forgot this, but we just reached 58 Slayer, which means we will take a small break to get a black mask. We have to do some quests for this, but at least with 58 Slayer we should have the requirement to kill the cave horrors. So after this task, it's time for some questing, and then we can hunt the black mask. To kill cave horrors, you need to complete the cabin fever quest, and there are a couple of quests we need to complete before you can do this. I think it's Pirate's Treasure, Rumdeal, and Zoger Flesh Eaters. So let's get those 3 quests out of the way, and then we should be ready for cabin fever. Pirate's Treasure is obviously a very easy quest, but our inventory is currently set up for farmer contracts, which means we have very limited inventory space, and now we need to pick 10 bananas, and even that can get quite difficult for Ultimate Ironman. Yeah, we should be totally fine, we just have to juggle some stuff, bake some rounds here, and then we should be good. That's Pirate's Treasure completed. I think we now go do Rumdeal. Yeah, probably Rumdeal first. For the next few quests, we need some inventory space, and we probably want to dead bank for that. The only thing is there is some combat in these quests, and usually as an Ultimate Ironman, you don't want to be dead banked, but I think we should be fine. I think we can take the risk, and yeah, otherwise it would be very annoying to do these quests. We basically need the inventory space, so I think this is our only way. I might be a bit too scared, but whenever I dead bank, I always like to put my Bofa in the stash unit first. Because imagine like a game update ruining something, or like a bug in a game making the dead bank bug out. Yeah, I think I'd rather just put this in here, and this way we don't have any risk. The same I will do with the Void Knight's gloves, because yeah, basically why take the risk if you don't have to. I just traded him some fossils for Numenites, and now we should be ready to dead bank. I had to leave some saplings on the ground because of inventory space, and every time you go dead bank, always make sure to check your item retrieval system, because you want to make sure there is nothing left in here so you don't lose anything. Since we are very tight on inventory space, obviously we cannot take everything out of our dead bank, so the most important items which we definitely don't want to lose we will take out, and some items that are a bit less relevant we will just keep in. I'm just going to figure out which items we definitely want to take, and I'll get back to you once I get that. Yeah, basically I just took out every relevant seed we have. Also the runes, I definitely don't want to lose those. Like the big stack of herbs we don't want to lose, because if like the seeds would go away, we couldn't do any farming contracts anymore, and obviously the herb seeds will be very, very important. Even the ones that are a bit less relevant, which we just need for farming contracts, those would be pretty annoying to lose. Also some seeds left in the seed box. The ones that are untradeable go in here because they cannot go in the looting bag, obviously. So that's basically the inventory setup. Should be totally fine with this, and at least we have plenty of inventory spaces to do the quest now. Might also be a good idea to show what's left in the dead bag now, mainly like Herbler secondaries, the MLS crystals, like not really nice to get back, but fine, it's not that bad. Other than that, the saplings, the diamonds, and also some lower stack of herbs that are a bit less relevant. This should be totally fine to lose, and again, probably we won't lose this anyway, since the quest should be pretty easy. Let's grab the Bova from the stash unit. This will definitely be our weapon of choice. Also some super energies, which could be nice during questing. Some prayer potions, which are always nice for overheads. And also chaos runes. I think we need these for Zoker flesh eaters to cast Crumble on that. Because if we wouldn't do this, we need to make an ogre combo. And yeah, I think it's just way easier to cast Crumble on that. So let's go questing. Since we do have the inventory spots right now, we can also just buy Staff of Fire. We can now easily teleport to Varrock without going to our POH. And we can also autocast Crumble on that, which makes the boss a bit easier, I think. Wait, we cannot I think Crumble on that is not a spell you can autocast. Well, it's probably still useful just for the magic bonus. And also, again, the Varrock teleport is fairly nice now. And now let's set up our inventory for some questing. Let's just take a ton of super energies, some food and some prayer potions. And with this we should be able to complete these quests fairly easily. So I think it's Zoker Flesh Eaters. There's this one part, if you misclick you take a lot of damage. And obviously we don't really want to die since we have some stuff left in our dead bank. Again, it is stuff we are willing to lose. Like if we would die it wouldn't be the most disastrous thing to happen. But on my hardcore I misclicked here once and I took like a big hit, and I can't really remember where it was, so I should just be a bit careful with my clicks. I haven't quested for a while on this account, and now you really start to realize the disadvantages of an ultimate Ironman, like juggling around these items can be quite a pain. I have no idea where I took that big hit on the hardcore Ironman, because we're currently at the boss fight and this should basically be the last part of the quest. And again, we can cast Crumble Undead on this. If we didn't have Crumble Undead here, we had to make an Ogre combo with Ogre comp arrows, and especially with our current inventory setup, that would have been quite a hassle. So Crumble on that is a pretty easy way to finish this boss. And I think once we finish this, the quest should basically be done. I was correct, that's Zoker Flesh Eaters completed. Now let's go do Rum Deal and then we should be ready for Cabin Fever. And the early Bova has such a quality of life, like for every single monster we have to kill, we can just Bova it down. And all the small bit of time saved is really handy here. So I think in general, whenever you want to get the Bova, just getting it as soon as possible is always a good idea. Again, not too much issues here, that's Rum Deal completed. Fairly easy and quick quest. Any levels? Oh, I kind of expected a prayer level here, but still some EXP off. Now we are Cabin Fever ready though. Also for Cabin Fever, quite a lot of inventory juggling, since there are a lot of items we have to take at once here while repairing these boats. Also this quest kind of reminds me of the way sailing should work, because you're on this boat and you're interacting with the boat, and I think this is kinda how Jagex said sailing would look like. They said it would be way different than the Bon Voyage quest, where you basically get this interface and you just have to steer the boat, but it would be more like you as a player interacting with the boat, and I think the Cabin Fever quest is kind of like that. So kind of curious if this will look anything like sailing. We are now just watching this little cutscene, and after this is over, the quest should basically be done. That's the quest completed, and now we should be ready to kill some cave hours, and let's hope we can get a bit of nice RNG on the Black Mask. I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago, but on my main Ironman I was really stuck on the Cryptid Gauntlet. I was around 600 KC there and never saw an enhanced, so a lot of the things we are doing right now, I'm actually doing them for the first time. The Black Mask ride is also something you only do after the Bova if you go for the Song of the Elves Rush, which is the route I also took for my main Iron. So this is the first time I'm really killing these cave horrors. Not really sure how we have to do this. I think you have to wear the Witchcon icon, but we are currently wearing the Amulet of Nature. But as long as you just pray melee, you should be fine. But again, this is something we have to find out, as this is definitely my first time doing this. Oh shit, I forgot to take a light source. Let's get the hell out of here and get a light source. That was pretty scary, I think. We couldn't really die there, but we are dead tanked for some items, obviously. So yeah, we teleported out just in time, I think. Yeah, this looks way better with a light source. I think we can safe spot these things. I'm just going to try to figure out what will be the best way to do this. We can let our aggression timer run out and just safe spot them, or we can just choose to camp protect melee and just kill them that way. I think I'm going to opt for the last option since we have plenty of prayer points. And yeah, here we can't really safe spot them. So yeah, I think overheads will probably be the way. We currently do not have the inventory set up for farming contracts, and I think just in case we go really unlucky here, it's a bit better to do it this way since we have a bit more extended trips this way. The drop rate is 1 in 512, so we shouldn't be here for that long. I think we can manage around 150 kills per hour with the BOFA, but I did hear some people go really unlucky here, so I just want some protection against that, so extended trips are probably just a bit better. Also, I'm currently not picking up these assault heads, and it's something I definitely want to figure out for the next time we start training Slayer, because it's a lot of prayer EXP you will get passively, and definitely worth it to get that, but you do need some runes for that, and our farming contract setup doesn't really allow for that. So the next time we start training Slayer, I will probably opt to do that. We do need to build an occult altar, which we do have the construction levels for, but we still have to get a pharaoh scepter and some other stuff, so definitely something I will figure out when we start training Slayer again. We are currently about 100 kills in, no real luck here. We do get a lot of juicy seeds here, which is nice. And I also just want to emphasize the BOFA is so good. I just estimated about 150 kills per hour, and that does seem to be right. I think we will manage that. And if we would have to use melee here, that would be a lot slower. So since you have to get the BOFA anyway for the late game, it's so nice to have this very early. Don't think we need the Slayer gloves here, by the way, just wearing those, and should probably opt to switch these out with Void Knight's gloves, by the way, now that I see it. Yeah, we'll probably do that the next reset. I was just wearing these for the Brumdeal quest, I think, or maybe Cabin's Fever. For one of these quests we needed this, so that's the reason I'm wearing them currently. We just got a longbone at 230 KC, and I think this drop is like 1 in 400, so very close to the Black Mask. Always feels bad to get these drops that are really rare but quite useless, and even though it's not as rare as a Black Mask, like, would rather have seen the Black Mask. Again, 230 KC, so about halfway on the drop rate. Another longbone, at least the last one gave a collection log slot, this one didn't. Also, we got a nature talisman on the go, which is like a 1 in 1k, and again, it feels really bad to see these drops that are really rare but extremely useless. Wait, that's the Black Mask already. We are at like 246 KC. This is a big spoon again. Like the last week, we've been so spooned with the bottomless buckets, the Black Mask now, and also like getting the enhanced like at 400 KC. Wouldn't say that's really unlucky. So now it's time to train Slayer again, and now with the Black Mask, that should be a big DPS increase. Let's test this out. I'm just cleaning up my inventory. We have to set it up for farming contracts again. And what's a really nice thing about these imbue scrolls you get from the PvP arena, you can just take them off, and we had our Berserker Ring imbued, and now we can imbue the Black Mask with the same scroll. And instead of the Nightmare Zone points, which you only get like back half of them, with the scroll you just get a full scroll and you can imbue any item after that. Really nice quality of life, I'd say. So let's imbue this Black Mask, and that's a big upgrade though. We now want to turn our Black Mask into our Slayer helmet, because this means we don't have to buy ear muffs and stuff for Banshees, for example, and this just means we get the DPS increase on any task, because for these tasks we had to take off our crystal helmet before, which did decrease our DPS by quite a bit. For the ones not familiar, by the way, the reason we imbue the Black Mask is because it then also works with ranged and magic. An unimbued Black Mask works the same for melee, it doesn't really increase that DPS, but after you imbue it, it also works with ranged and magic. So let's buy some stuff here to make the Slayer helmet, and then we should be ready. That should be all the items, and now I think we just use one of the items. Oh, that was easy. That's the Slayer helmet made, and again, this is such a big upgrade. Like the BOFA was really accurate with the full crystal armor already, but with the Slayer helm we should get a bit of extra max hits, and also the accuracy should increase, so on task this will be very good. And it's also time for another Hespori KC. Not really looking for anything, mostly trying to keep up with the Anima seed, since we obviously already have the bucket. Also, I opted to not get an anti-poison this time. I think it's not worth the time investment, and with this inventory we can basically just out-heal all the poison damage with the food we got. Hespori is down, so let's loot it. Add a seed. Yeah, not really too useful. We are mostly looking for chronal seeds to get the maximum potential out of our farming contract, but this does mean we are currently green-locked on Hespori. That's pretty nice, I guess. That's our first greenlock we ever got. Obviously, a Corrupted Gauntlet, we didn't greenlock it because we didn't get a pet. So very nice to see this. Now we should be ready for Slayer again. But obviously, before we start Slayer, we have to dead bank again to set up our inventory for farming contracts, because we definitely want to keep doing those. And before a dead bank, I always like to put my BOFA in the stash unit, so nothing can go really wrong there. Because imagine the dead bank bugs out and we lose our BOFA, that would be pretty bad. So kind of just a safety measurement. It's a really small time investment, so why not just do it? We took everything out of our dead bank, and now I just realized we might have made a little mistake. Because the crystal helm is not baggable, but what you can do is revert it to a crystal armor seat, since it's only one armor seat to make it, and then you can put that armor seat in your bag. But since we put so many charges in the helm, we currently have over 7k charges, all those charges will go to waste. And we obviously do this because we now have the Slayer helmet, so the crystal helm won't really be used, so we rather turn it into an armor seat and bag that. So unfortunately all those crystal shards now went to waste. I think it's like 70 crystal shards probably, which should be around 2-3 hours of CG. Well, not the best thing, but probably we can just go back to CG anytime we want, and then we also get the rolls on the extra enhanced, so not that bad I'd say. We should have our whole inventory set up basically, and now we want to take out our crystal helm and do the very painful thing of reverting this. Yeah, again, 7k charges, and reverting this will make it lose all its charges, and we don't get any crystal shards back. So with a little bit of pain, let's just do this. At least this makes it baggable, so it's probably worth it. There it is, the armor seat. Now we can bag this, and our inventory should be totally set up for farming contracts. Very nice. So now we should be ready to start training Slayer again with our farming contract setup, obviously. We just took out the BOFA again, which we obviously put in a stash unit just for the safety measurement. And let's also take a small look at our looting bag at the moment. Don't think I've done this for a while. So we basically have just a shit ton of herbs in here currently, slowly stacking those up while we do farming contracts and herb runs. A lot of runes from CG still, obviously, some potions. Then we have the Dragon Scimitar, which we're still holding on to. It's really annoying to get back. And then obviously the Crystal Armor Seat, which hurt quite a bit. So that's the current looting bag, and basically all that will happen with this is the herb slowly stacking up. So once we get a decent amount of that, I'll show you the looting bag again. So we had to do some Turrel tasks, and now we should be ready for another Konar task. But yeah, this is a small consideration we have to make. We have 20 Slayer points left, which means we don't have enough points for a skip. And the odds of us getting a bad task at Konar is a bit higher than at Neve. So it might be a good idea to do one task at Neve for the points, and after that we should be fine with doing Konar, because sometimes you'd have to skip something. Like we did get Bloodvelds in the Godwars dungeon, which would definitely be a skip. Yeah, probably just to be sure we can do at least a decent task, Neve is probably the best bet. Yeah, let's make a small trip to Neve then. So the best play was probably to save up on some points before we unlocked the Slayer helmet, so we were sure we had one skip left, but instead Neve should be a decent bet on a decent task at least. Sukwas, that's probably the worst task we could have gotten from Neve. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, yeah, this is probably the worst task. But again, this is the worst task from Neve, and the worst task from Konar would be Bloodvelds in the Godwars, and that would have been way worse anyway. So let's just kill these Sukwas, save up on some points, and at least then we will have enough points to skip. I grabbed some prayer potions and we arrived at the Sukwas. I think if we kill these ones at like the southeast part of the island, they don't hit with mage, so we should be able to safe spot them on the bridge. Yeah, these seem to kind of drag away, which is in a sense a safe spot. Oh well, it gets stuck right here. Yeah, this should be fine. I think most of these we should be able to safe spot, and again, I took some prayer potions just in case we couldn't. We're actually hitting pretty hard on these with the Slayer helmet. I think this is a pretty decent task to do. Should be over pretty soon. I must say, the BOFA is hitting really hard on these Sukwas. Like, the difference the Slayer helmet makes is pretty huge. Our max hit used to be 30, and at the moment it's 33. And considering the extra accuracy, this is really nice. The Sukwa task, not the best in general, but yeah, with the setup it should be over pretty soon. And at least it's very satisfying to do this at the moment with this setup. With this task we'll finish off the next episode. We made a lot of nice progress in this episode. We got the Black Mask, which, yeah, it's an insane upgrade. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.